Miss London, Miss Graduate, Miss Master's degree.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I did that.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I finished my master's well over a year ago virtually, and I finally got the opportunity to do an in-person graduation. So I packed my bags and left.
Went across the pond.
With my parents.
Yes.
And it was so lovely. Kind of a trip, like doing, like closing that chapter so much later than I intended.
You're like, right, I did go to school.
Yeah, and I'm kind of nearing the end of my gap year here now too, my intentional gap year. So it really feels very cathartic, if you will, like really closing it up there, tying it with a bow, moving one tassel
right to left or whatever. You just did it. Is it right to left? Or did they do that?
No. They literally called my major, my name, and then I walked across, shook no hands, and had a little peace sign to my mom, and went on my merry way, exited off the stage.
And you're like, here you go, goodbye.
Yeah, I didn't even get, I think maybe it's just more of a American uni thing where you get like not this plaque but this like leather little booklet that's meant to put your degree in, and like so that way like you can pose for pictures with it, but it actually just is a blank piece of paper that says your name.
Then they send you your diploma.
So didn't even get any of that, but got a tote bag and a pin.
You got merch.
I got merch and a glass of Prosecco at the end of the ceremony, so I was happy. But yeah, I had my ceremony right across from the Westminster Abbey, Big Ben, that area.
Is that still under construction?
No.
Finally.
I know. She's beautiful.
Wow.
It was really nice coming back because the whole time I was living in London, she was under construction. But yeah.
You did some shopping.
I did for you.
Like
Harrods, chocolate, teas and coffee.
Like, yeah, you're going for graduation, but here's my list. Can you bring a whole separate luggage for my snack?
Like a literal list. It was all like, yeah, you're going, have a great trip, but here is what I want and need and will consume when you're back.
If you don't bring me my tea from London, I'm gonna make you go back.
That's fine. I'll take you
but
with
I'll
me.
just come. Yeah.
Yeah. The souvenir shopping was so real. Yeah, we were about a 7-minute walk away from Harrods from where we were staying, so that was
dangerous but wonderful,
to put it lightly. But yeah, flights were easy, the people fantastic. I miss the culture. The Brits. Sure. I miss the accents. I really did. Like, it's just when you grow up listening to one kind of accent your whole life, you're like, okay, yeah, that's what I'm accustomed to. But like going back there and just hearing the different types of the way people speak, and like you just hear more languages over there just in general, and I was just like, wow.
Feels more like a collective of the world.
Yeah, and I love that. I'm very global, or what does my dad call me? He's like, you're a citizen of the world.
Yeah. You're like, thank you.
You're like, I know.
I try.
I travel.
I've been abroad.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Well, how was it being abroad for the first time since all of this?
It was a little bit of a trip because when I was there, when I actually lived there for the year and a half that I did, a full year of it was in lockdown. And so I was only able to explore so much square mileage because I was very cautious and like didn't want to take the tube too much. And so going back now with everything open and everyone really full force living their life, it was nice being in that sense of life again, of how busy everything was. It was very much at my speed, like just again culturally, like seeing the pubs packed. I was like, wow, I miss this.
Yeah.
I really, really miss this. So it was really lovely to go back and kind of have like a little mini stay of what like my entire trip should have been when I lived there. And because I left under, you know, 2 years of lockdown, I was like, wow, I miss this. So it was really lovely to go back and kind of have like a little mini stay of what like my entire trip should have been when I lived there. And because I left under, you know, 2 years of lockdown, I was like, wow, I miss this. So it was really lovely to go back and kind of have like a little mini stay of what like my entire trip should have been when I lived there. And because I left under, you know, not my favorite circumstances when I officially moved back to LA. It was really nice, again, to just kind of revamp that, get that closure mentally. Mm-hmm. And like, oh, now my last memories of London is this trip. Yeah. And that's what I love. Yeah. Yeah, and now my parents are saying that's like one of their new favorite places to go to, which I find hilarious. And I agree. Yeah. And I'm sure it's a lot easier to go about some place that like at least one person knows like every square mile of it, which is me. Yeah. And so I think that's why they love it, because they just had to get like all they had to do was just be guided.
Well, that's how it was when I visited. Like, I was not paying attention to like areas or where we were. I'm like, I have my guide. You'll be my eyes. You're my map. And yeah, I could just enjoy and look up at everything and just like be a genuine tourist. And if I had to tell you what streets we were on, I could not know.
Could not do that.
But that was so fun to travel that way, where like I don't have to know anything. I just have to see the beautiful sights and take pictures.
Hold my hand and go our merry way.
Take me wherever. You obviously know where we are.
Yeah. No, my parents love that. You love that. Mm-hmm. Like, I get it.
You're like, okay, someone else lead.
Yeah, and it was fun going back to my favorite spots. I officially have, I think, about two places where like I always have to go back to. Mm-hmm. Shout out Côte Brasserie. It's a chain French restaurant. Honestly, the chains in Europe, Cheesecake Factory.
Cheese fake. It is fake. Whoa. Fake food. I love Cheesecake Factory. Let's be nice.
No. But it's like that's one of the nicer chains.
Yeah. And that'd be like trash over there.
Oh my god, it's worse than McDonald's. But yeah, all the fancy chains that they have out there is just so beautiful and wonderful and delicious.
Did we go there?
Yeah, I took you. Specifically the location in between Tower Bridge and London Bridge.
Yeah, it was like a very, very upscale. But
that's a chain. If you could believe.
I can't. And Nando's.
I had Nando's twice, and it was delicious. And I tried a new chain out with my parents called the Ivy. I know we have the Ivy here, but I think it's a completely different entity. But aesthetically, it's just so eclectic and cute, and just very like bold and bright, and I love it. Mm-hmm. And they do tea, so my mom's like, we got to do tea at the Ivy next time. Oh, and then obviously Harrods. Harrods is a must. My parents and you don't even need to speak for you.
Oh, please.
We love Harrods. We discovered this new little cafe that we did not get to go into, so that is on the bucket list next time. It's called the Tiffany Blue Box Cafe, and it's right underneath Rolex and Cartier. It was just a dream.
Oh my god.
Like, even just being in the vicinity, I was like, I gotta have a croissant here.
Like, I must have tea here. I'm surrounded by diamonds.
Fancy watches.
TikTok.
Get me to breakfast. We still haven't explored every single inch of that place.
Yeah. I can't wait to go back.
I saw where Harry and Meghan also got married at Windsor Castle. That was really cool. That was one of the coolest looking interior castle things I've ever been in my life.
Oh.
Castle.
Something. I want to go back. I will go back. We will go.
We have to take a day trip, because that was the thing that, like, when you and our other friend Kylie visited, you two visited me separate times, but we stuck with just London City. We really didn't branch out to like little countryside areas, like an hour out, 2 hours out. But that was so worth it as well, and so beautiful to see. You don't see countryside like that
in LA. Los Angeles countryside.
Well, we are desert first and foremost, and beach. But yeah, all in all, London was lovely. It's lovely in the springtime. So originally I was actually supposed to go in January, but then, the surge happened. I've obviously lived through 2 Januaries there, and not the most pleasant weather to be in. And you visited in December, so it's basically the same thing. So it was really nice to go in the springtime. Like, I didn't even wear, like, my usual puffer jacket. Like, I actually got to serve some looks.
Not just be bundled.
Yeah.
Yeah, your graduation look was so cute.
Thanks.
So just like, ooh, she's got a master's.
She got a master's. She's a businesswoman.
Yes, you were like in charge.
I was channeling like a little bit of Kamala Harris, a little bit Meghan Markle, like those combined ladies.
Yeah, love it. It was coming through. I got that vibe.
Yeah,
this is a powerful woman.
Yes,
I listened to her.
Yes, and yeah, it was just so nice. I got that outfit there, so it made it even extra special. And the coolest part was actually graduating across from like one of the most historical and iconic areas in London, which is the Westminster Abbey. Yeah. Like, hello. Hello. Like, smell, wave, kiss, kiss.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And that was London.
London, baby.
So much shopping. Oh. So much closure.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
The look in your eyes. What?
If any of our listeners have listened to episode 2, and I mentioned in my breakup story how this anonymous this anonymous account DM'd me about my cheating ex. So I don't know if I said this then, but I'll say it now because it's out in the open and enough time has passed. But we had stayed in contact as soon as she like gave me the down low, and as soon as I ended that relationship, we stayed in contact and like have been like Instagram girlies for a while now. And so I finally got to meet her in person, and she is such a hoot. So it's just awesome, like how, even though I left and I didn't know her when I was there, I'm still forming these connections, no matter how, awful the circumstance was, but still making these connections with people like from across the world. And it was just so fun and so nice to finally like meet someone who is so integral in like basically jumpstarting the next chapter of my life.
Seriously. I think that's so incredible, like just how she came into the picture and her role in all of that situation was not ideal. But you were meant to meet her clearly for some reason, and just the fact that that's how it happened, and then you stayed in touch and then met and like actually get along and see a friendship is like life, man. Crazy.
Gotta love it. Speaking of a crazy life, to continue on from our college talk from last week's episode, I thought it would be fun to just delve deeper into sorority life. I feel like we had a very unique, not maybe unique, but we had an experience.
It was unique. Yeah. And it was an experience.
Definitely unique for the school that we went to and how it was set up compared to like maybe more traditional schools who like have a Greek row and have like traditional housing and maybe like smaller amount of people in it. And I just find it, again, I love talking about college because I think so fondly of it. And I feel like sorority life was such a huge part of that. Cool. So just kind of start things off. Did you know that there was Greek life, or how prominent it was before going and choosing to go to ASU?
Yeah, I knew that they had Greek life, and I knew that I'd want to join. Like we kind of touched on last week, wanting to get that traditional American college experience that, at least my interpretation of that, involved Greek life, and it just sounded fun and like, it sounds like I would love that. And I think being on like a really close dance team in high school, I was used to like being a part of a team and having like girl friends and being like a family because of whatever it is that bonds us. So it was very appealing, and I was pretty sure that I'd want to join.
For me too, I, again, like you said, wanted like the stereotypical American college life, and coming from an all-girls school, I would see alumni from my high school join sororities in their colleges, and that looked like a lot of fun. And like because our school, ASU, was such a huge school. For me, going from like a class of like 78 to 80 girls to, 10,000 plus students on just one campus was not necessarily intimidating, but I was like, I'm used to a small community and I need to make that for myself.
We joined freshman year, and it's so nice to just meet that many people at the start of your time in college when you don't know anyone. It's like, well, here's 100, 200 people that you can just meet, and not to say that you're going to be best friends with every single person, but you have that group of people to now get to know and see who you click with. Yeah, it was so,
I'm jumping ahead here, but it was so nice to like see someone with our same letters, and like even if I've never even maybe seen you or talked to you yet, it was an instant like, oh hey, like
I'll sit with you, we have class together, like
so definitely immediately like those are some of the positives. But yeah, like just before we even got to campus, or maybe we were on campus already, were you already looking at every single chapter that was there on campus, and like did you do like the whole social media stalking and like doing your research on like what's available, who's available?
Not really. I remember looking at some of the websites for the different chapters, but I think that was after I'd gone to like an orientation or something. It wasn't like the summer before college or anything. I don't think once like, recruitment started and it was leading up to the time of recruitment, I think that I did try to like make a list of like based on the website, what's the cutest? Like nothing based on like what the homepage looks like. But how about you?
I did my thorough research. Because again, that was an aspect of college that I was very much looking forward to. I think like it was up there with like the whole like being independent for the first time, kind of excitement of like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be like this, and this is gonna be my life. I researched the heck out of each chapter beforehand, and even though I didn't necessarily like remember all of them once I did get onto campus, I knew like my top choices at that point, just based on like what they either represented, or unfortunately I did go on Greek Rank, if you remember that website. And I did kind of go based on like who was ranked at the top or whatever, or at the very least like the first through the middle.
I wonder if that still exists.
I have no idea, and like to me now that's obviously so like very problematic and horrible because it was based on just looks. I did have someone who she graduated college already at that point, and she was basically like not coaching me, but just being like, this is how recruitment's gonna be, this is what you probably want to wear, this is this and that. So I was getting like one-on-one like training essentially of like how to be the best little recruitee. So yeah, I went in like thinking I knew everything. Okay, so with rushing and recruitment, what was like the expectation going in, if you had one? Or are you just kind of going in like, cool, this is happening?
I think that was more it. Because no one in my immediate family was in Greek life. I didn't know anyone that was like a couple years older than me that had just gone through it or anything, so I don't think I really knew much. It was kind of like pre-recruitment. I think I was just very excited, very optimistic, like, I don't know, just very, very ready to do it. And just kind of going in blindly.
Like more fun than like intimidating or something.
I'm sure that on some level, like it is intimidating on both ends, but I don't know, I think I was just more like blindly excited, like I don't know, this is just such a cool new experience. And I remember it was fun, at least at the start. Then it gets stressful, but the beginning I was like, this is incredible.
No, same with the actual like rushing and recruitment part of it all, like because we had 2 weeks of it or 2 weekends of it. It was long. It was long because of the amount of people doing it. I guess my expectation going in was like, I'm gonna be very tired because that's what everyone keeps telling me. And maybe not get your heart set on like one or two, but just try to keep as an open mind as possible.
Yeah, especially at the beginning when you are just, everyone meets everyone to start. So I think that's obviously a good thing. But I'm just trying to, I haven't really thought about recruitment, lately.
As the person going through it.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to recall, what that was really like.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to recall, that first week, because it all happened within the first couple of weeks we were just on campus. So everything felt very new. So yeah, it was a very overwhelming time of this is a lot of newness.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just everything kind of happening at once and very quickly, and it's very exciting and overwhelming, and then all of a sudden you're in a sorority and I'm I didn't even see recruitment. It just went by very quickly, but was also exhausting.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember if the ones that you made it almost all the way to, were they your favorites? Were there some that you're I don't think I'm connecting that well with this one, so I hope I get that one?
By the end, yes. My last two at least, I was very comfortable with. Mm-hmm. And the one that we were in, I want to say people always told me, and I was I don't really know what that means, but sure. They were my Rogam said, I think multiple times, oh, you'll know by sisterhood day where you want to be or where you belong. And I was okay, whatever that means. I'm just here. And then sisterhood day came, and I was
I get it.
This is it. I don't want to go to the next one. Oh my gosh, yes. I feel it here.
Yeah.
Initially, it was just cool. You only talked to a few people, and there's so many people going through it, and the sororities have to talk to so many people and do their best every day to present the best image of what you could potentially be joining. So it's you only get so much information, and you only get to talk to a handful of the women in that chapter. But yeah, sisterhood day definitely was oh, okay, I feel what they were talking about.
Oh yeah, and so for those of you that don't know, at least this is how our recruitment worked. And the first days you just go through is just round 1, and it's literally just meet and greet. Mm-hmm. And then round 2 is philanthropy day, so you learn about the organization that they are most charitable to, I guess, and that's what you represent, and that's where all your fundraising and stuff goes to. Third round is sisterhood, so you learn about the dynamic and the bonds of what makes that chapter theirs. Mm-hmm. In terms of the friendships and stuff. And then you go to your final round, which is, I don't know what we called it, I forget now, but just final round.
I think of a boxing match.
Right. And that's, you get first introduced to maybe more of the ceremonial ritual aspect of that particular chapter, and then that's when you make your picks.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they would say so that's round 3. So the round before you're about to make your decision, where you're really oh, I get it.
Yeah, I felt that. I felt that way.
With ours?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it was actually my second choice. No, it was, I remember telling myself, don't get too excited. Or don't tell yourself you love it as much as you know you love it.
This is it.
I want that one.
This is home.
Yes.
I had a little bit of a different experience towards the end, and I think you know this, but it's been a long time since we've really talked about it. Mm-hmm. So by the end, I did like my 2 choices that I had at the end. However, I could just tell with one that I was pretty much the token POC girl. In a room full of the same looking kind of girl. And as much as I connected, and I'm a people person, so I can talk to a brick wall and have a fantastic time. Mm-hmm. But I could just tell I don't think I will fit in long term here.
Yeah.
That's the best way I could put it. And with the other one, ours, I was this is more my speed. This is more of what I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. And so at the end of the day, it obviously all worked out, but these experiences do happen. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of crazy that I was wow, I can clock this right here, right now.
I see this.
I sense it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, sometimes that really is just the case with sorority life and Greek life. And I will say, like, it's no fault. Like, I don't know. I don't blame this particular chapter. I get it. Mm-hmm. And especially with the diversity demographic going in, it is a lot of the same type of person. But we can talk about more of that in a little late. in a bit. So yeah, bid day as a freshie.
Yeah. Oh, bid day was so fun.
I was so overwhelmed.
No, bid day was so precious. Our campus was really beautiful, and we have this one building that just looks so collegiate and old-fashioned, and that's where our bid day was, and you got to like run down these stairs, and it was this whole thing, and I just think it was special. It was so cute.
It was.
That's sweet.
I got lost.
They're like, you're not our sister. Who are you?
And I was all like, point me to this one. They're like, they're right over there. You gotta take a lap. And I was like, okay, I'm going.
You're like, I don't know the Greek letters yet. Or is this you? Like, where am I?
I barely know the colors.
Oh, that's funny. I'm sure you were not the only one like running around like, sister, nope, sister, nope.
It was funny. It was really funny. But eventually I was like, yes! Mom!
Yeah. Before we figured out what sorority we were in, we all got envelopes, and they had us in our recruitment groups just sitting, and then they announced when you can open them. And that anticipation was like, like, I think because they all had like different writing, or like they looked different, so you could tell if you were in the same one as someone else. And so I remember sitting with someone that we had the same envelope or like the same handwriting on it or something, and we're like, oh my gosh, I think we might be in the same one. And we just opened it and like hugged, and it was just so cute. And then we did the running down the stairs and all of that. But
see, I put my envelope up to the light and saw through it.
No, you gotta wait for the moment.
You know me, I'm not good with surprises. I need to spoil it for myself.
You'd sit there with a light, like looking at it.
And I knew I got the one I wanted, so I was like, yes. So then I was like, okay, back under my butt you go.
Haven't looked.
But yeah, our bid day, what did we do? We took two double-decker buses over to, I think, an alumni's house, a family's home, because it was gigantic in the desert. And did just like a cute little dinner bonding.
It was like was it a pool party?
It was like a pool party almost, and that was super fun and low key.
It was like perfect amount of like fun and like something big and like this is your bid day, but also intimate enough that you can talk to people and at least get people's numbers or like chat here and there with people. But it was like so much like stimulation and just fun, and like that is such a new experience. It was like you don't really know like what you're starting. You're like, this is cool, I just joined this something, but you don't really know like the true long lasting effects, hopefully in a good way, that it'll have for the rest of your time in college and your time after and like your whole life. It was like, oh wow, this is like a core part of your life right now.
Yeah, like this is now part of like how people associate you. I just remember like basically all of my social media following and friend on Facebook like just doubling. All of a sudden I'm like, I don't know any of these people. Like, who are you? Yeah.
Right. That was in the time of Facebook when it was still like a main social media platform, and getting all of the friend requests from all of our new sisters. And I'm like, accept, we'll meet eventually. I don't know any of these people, but
yeah. I think we said this, like I'm pretty sure we met on bid day and exchanged numbers then, but it was all very in passing because we were getting everybody's number and everyone's social medias, and I only remember sitting and talking with just to like a handful of people the whole night, and then I started to branch out after that. Cool. Now, like, let's talk about our first year as baby sorority girlies. Well, we can talk about, like, the whole debate, because this is kind of early on that I at least started to hear then, was, like, the debate of joining a sorority of, like, oh, you're paying for friendship. Heck yeah, I am. Are you kidding? Well, I say that lightly in my heck yeah, because, yes, I'm paying to be in this organization, but what that brings me is like built-in friendships if I want them, and like an immediate source and an immediate link to people.
Exactly. That's what I was kind of saying. Like, yeah, like you aren't guaranteed friends. You're guaranteed the opportunity, but that doesn't mean that you'll get along with everyone or that your friendships, that 5 years after graduating, you'll still be sitting with the same person you met, you know. Aw, so sentimental. Like we're still in it now. Like, we're not paying to be friends. And like the people that you stay close to after college, like, we're not paying sorority dues. No one is forcing us to hang out. Like, yeah, you are paying to be a part of an organization, but it's the same. Like, if you have, I'm thinking of dues when you're on like a sports team. Like, you're a part of an organization. That doesn't mean that you have genuine friendships with the people. Like, that still has to come from you and just, you know, who you genuinely get along with, but you aren't guaranteed true friends. It's like you meet your people and you make the friendships the same way you would with however you meet anyone.
Yeah, I'm paying for an opportunity to really open up my horizons to the different personality types that this organization did provide me, and I'm so thankful for it.
I feel like, yes, you have like events and you have chapter meetings and all of that, but the places where the friendships are formed are outside of all of that. It's like in your dorms, when you go to lunch, like
when you go to parties.
Yeah, when you go out with people that you text randomly and say like,
where the party at?
Yeah, like,
am I gonna see you?
People drop the sorority or the fraternity and still keep in touch with people and have friendships, and they're not paying dues. Like, yes, you meet them through this organization, but if you want to make friendships, that's on you. Yeah. That's the individual process. That's not guaranteed just because you pay to be around people.
Yeah. Literally what your dues pay for is to keep the chapter going as like an actual organization on that college campus. And it pays for your events, and it pays for your transportation to said events. And it pays for, it literally just pays for putting on events.
Yeah, like the business stuff. Like keeping the lights on.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. It's business ops.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Like we're paying rent.
Yeah, exactly. You're not actually paying the person to be your friend.
I'm not paying you to go to lunch with me.
Exactly. And then another major point that I really obviously was very exposed to that I just touched on was the diversity. Honestly, the lack of diversity, I think, in America in Greek life, like, I think we could say this very generally, and like it definitely doesn't just count towards just our particular chapter and our particular school, or just our particular Pan-Hellenic overall. Because I'd say ASU as a whole is like a very diverse school, like a lot of different backgrounds and different type of people. But the particular demographic for people who do actually join Greek life is one particular demographic that dominates it. And not to say that that's Greek life's fault, but it is, because there's obviously something that is blocking that maybe mindset for more diverse people to come in and feel welcomed to join and feel welcome to not think like, oh, well, they're just gonna brush me off to just this one chapter that's known for being more diverse, versus having the equal opportunity to join anyone based on just your personality type.
Yeah. I think you said that beautifully.
Oh, thank you. I've been having it in my back pocket for some time now.
Like, yep. Yeah, I have thought that too, that it's not an issue if the demographic is 90% one thing, but you have to look at why that is. And I think part of that is because, okay, well, why do people who don't fit that description not feel maybe welcome, or don't even rush because they don't think that they'll be included or accepted? It's who feels comfortable, who feels like they will be able to get that experience that they want.
Feeling welcomed.
Yeah, feeling welcomed.
And as someone, or to someones who are POC who did this, and you know, I personally did feel welcome, but I think that has a lot more to do with like the limitlessness and the fearlessness I just went into it in general, and the naivety of it all. Yeah. Like, I just simply didn't know. I knew, but I didn't know why, and I didn't unfortunately bother to know why, because I was just wanting to go through it. That wasn't in the forefront of my mind.
In a way, I guess, Yeah, I feel the same way, like that naive, like when I look back on little me now, I'm
Yeah.
like, you had no idea, honey. Like, which honestly I think is fine. Like,
Yes.
just
you're 18, 19 years old.
What's the term? Ignorance is bliss. It's
Yes.
true. I'm like, I'm just living. I don't know anything. Like, I'm just here having a ball.
Yeah.
But looking back now, yeah, I do see things differently where I'm like, oh, I was so not going to get into that one. Like, absolutely not. Like, I don't even think they had their token one person of anything. Like, absolutely not. Like, which obviously, like, I wouldn't want to be
part of anyway.
I wouldn't want to be, a part of it. I wouldn't want to be the token other. Like, no. So I'm not wishing that I was in those. And I love the one that I was in because I considered it one of the more diverse, inclusive sororities in that sense. Yeah. Just if we're just speaking visually, just visually in all senses, I felt comfortable. I do look completely different than a lot of people. I just think I look unique. Same with you. We just look like individuals.
Duh.
But yeah, I didn't feel like I looked like everyone, but I also didn't feel like I was just like
so different.
Yeah, like there were other people that just looked different on their own, but like everyone's just different. My last few that I had, I felt comfortable in that sense. Whether I realized it or not, I was like, yeah, like I vibe right here.
Yeah, like there's a reason why this makes sense, even if I can't quite identify like one of the points of why it makes me feel this way. Yeah, no, totally. And like I said before, like I clearly saw myself as the token someone. And, you know, immediately was all like, I still vibe, but like not enough where I would want to be part of this long term.
Yeah. Like you need me because you don't want to look bad.
But there's literally only one of me, so you'll look bad regardless, so you might as well kick me out.
You're like, you think I don't see this? I did feel that the school as a whole was diverse, and I think there were a lot of international students, and walking around campus, it just felt like a mix of all kinds of people, and I'd hear different languages. Like, it didn't feel like I'm seeing the same kind of person everywhere. But then within Greek life, that diversity was not the same at all.
Not at all.
So that's something to note.
And I'd love to know how it is now, because like I personally don't like really follow that anymore. Like I'm a proud alumni, of course, in both our sorority and our college, but at the same time I haven't really kept up of how it is now, and just in general how Greek life runs now. Like, how much has it evolved? Is it getting any better? Like, what's the vibe? What's the tea?
I know, because I don't even know anyone. I don't think I know anyone that is even in college now.
No, because
from when we were there.
Well, I guess we'll out ourselves. We just hit our 5-year anniversary from graduating.
How do you feel about that? I thought you were saying yes, but you said yuck.
Yes, but yuck. I love growing.
I love aging.
I don't mind aging into the ages we are now. Like, once I hit 30, I'll have another crisis. But, like, until then, like, I'm really enjoying my late 20s and the person I'm truly honing myself into. So, in that sense, I'm like, heck yeah, it's been 5 years. Like, thank God I'm out. But at the same time... like, time is moving so quickly.
Yeah, that was definitely something I noticed with sororities and fraternities, was just the lack of diversity overall. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it was what it was, but it was definitely real. It was definitely there.
Again, I hope this has evolved or changed in some capacity. And I hope, at least at our school, because the diversity is there, it's not lacking, I hope that Greek life has been more welcoming in that sense, because I think it's beautiful to see so many different types of people that can be under the same organization and under the same sisterhood, because like you never know who you're going to make bonds with. Like you just don't. And that to me is like the beautiful thing about diversity as a whole. And yeah. My next point was going to be, does size matter? And what I mean by that is, does the number of people in that organization matter? And just for context, our school, once again, had one of the biggest numbers of people, and the quota to fill that number of people in each chapter was very high compared to most universities in America.
I thought that our Greek life was big, but it was small for the size of the whole school. Like,
yeah.
For the number of people that went to ASU, Greek life was very small.
Tiny.
Yeah.
But in the context of the numbers compared to other colleges, we had one of the largest, I guess, again, quota for each chapter to recruit and maintain.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning of the year, when bid day rolls around, each chapter goes up to about 200 people per chapter. And then throughout the year, it pretty much dwindles down a little bit after that, just for various reasons. And I know with most colleges in America, that number reaches maybe like some as low as 40 total, all the way up to like maybe 100 to 120. So us, with our quota being around 200, like that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge number. But I think in the context of where we went, I think that worked.
Yeah.
Because of how large our campus was, I liked having that number just because it just meant more people to meet and people to know. Like, I didn't really see, like, the con of it.
Yeah. Yeah, like, we don't know. We will never know what it's like to be in a sorority with 10 people, but I enjoyed having such a large sorority. It just, like you said, more people to meet, more potential for friends.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just fun. It was like, I'm just a part of this really big organization of women. Like, have fun. The more the merrier.
Yeah. Last point, just to kind of wrap up what like the first year kind of felt like for me. I felt like there was a lot more pressure that I put on myself that was, well, not mine to begin with, but like I ate it up, unfortunately, was finding dates for date parties.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that first year was like the most pressure ever to find somebody. Was it fun? No. But did it happen? Yeah. And I feel like as the years went on, that became less and less important.
Yeah, thank goodness.
No offense to anyone who I ever took, but like, like, your role, I knew my role. Like, we went, and that was that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now we make our way to year 2.
We are now sophomores. You're not at the bottom anymore in that sense. Even though freshman year is incredible, you feel like, oh, I'm with the big dogs now. Like, I'm a sophomore, even though you're still basically a freshman.
Yeah, I feel like as a freshman you could get away with more because you're still technically learning the ropes of
life.
And how to handle yourself and carry yourself. But by second year, it's like, ooh, like I'm established.
It's your turn to be a role model now.
Yeah. And so in second year, we both lived in our Greek housing, which was, again, like we said from last week, a step up from our freshman year housing. We definitely created a lot more bonds than, outside the two of us. Yeah. Which was great. And it was really great to just kind of be in the hub of where most things happened, or at the very least, like most meeting places happen. Like frats would drop off like gifts and all of that, so it's like everyone who lived in that housing would basically be the ones getting it and like benefiting from that. And I don't know, for me, at least when I didn't live there, I didn't make my way out to go get said gift or participate in all of that. Like
if something was there, like, oh, come to this place to get it, it's like our dorm is the other side of campus. Like, I don't have a car. Like, I'm lazy. It's 100 degrees outside. Like
I'll get a cookie at my grocery store.
I'll pass. But yeah, it was very convenient.
Tell Chad to come over here.
You should deliver this to my door, Chad. Like, come on. I didn't ask for the cookies, but if you want me to have them, just bring them to my door.
Literally.
But yeah, it was very convenient for having events right there at the housing place. Like, we just walk out our door and we're right there.
Exactly. And now recruitment as the recruiter.
Oh yeah, forgot we did that.
All I remember is your birthday was on one of the days, and so that was real cute because we look real cute.
True.
Because it was the final day.
Oh yeah.
So we were like really, really dressed up. Yeah, that was a trip and a half being the recruiter.
Yeah. From what I remember, I think that I had that same initial excitement and then very quickly was like, I'm gonna hate this. Like, oh no, like sounded fun. But then when you really get down to it, it is so much physical work.
Yes.
And you have to wear heels. And I think that is the dumbest thing ever. Why? You look beautiful, but you are standing for so many hours and you know you're uncomfortable. Let the girls wear tennis shoes or heels if they want.
Yeah.
But to have it be a requirement when like there's really no real reason, like you can wear a dress with non-heels and look incredible and not you. Another thing, you will probably be in better moods because you aren't in pain. Therefore, you'll have better conversations with the girlies.
People were dropping like flies. Like all I remember, like I have two core memories. One I'll share, one I'll keep to myself. But one of them is I just remember at least one person every single round. One person would start limping, and then the next, and then the next, and then it was me, and I was like, oh my god.
Like it's not necessary. Like we know we can wear heels. Why do we have to wear them if we're gonna be doing this for 12 hours? It's not like you're going to dinner and then you take them off. Like,
yeah,
I'm in pain.
And then you still have to stay after to do whatever your voting system is and go through all of that, and then you get to go home.
Then you may take your shoes off.
And makeup off. And put new deodorant on. Like, oh my god, it was a lot.
What I found so funny, I just have so many visuals of like lashes, like strips of lashes just smashed and like squished on the tile floor. Like you could walk around like the whole building that recruitment was in and there's just like a lash over there, shoe in the corner, hairbrush over there, like
an extension,
yes,
a hairpiece.
It just looked like who was stripped of all their parts, like just like a lash on the wall, like
fake nail over there.
Yeah, like what is going on?
Yeah, I just three core memories. One I still will not share, but another one I remember. It was our very last day, and one of our friends got so dehydrated she was about to faint, and she was in heels. And I was next to her, and we were in the middle of a round, and it's pretty silent, this one.
It's like the most serious.
It's the most serious, most emotional one, or supposed to be. And I remember her just, like, casually looping her arm into mine to link it, and I was like, hey, girl, you okay? She's like, I'm gonna faint. And I'm just like, okay. Take your shoes off, just like really gracefully. And I'm like still looking straight ahead, looking all emotional.
You're a performer. You know how to like do something on the side while still presenting normally.
Oh yeah, like I was so good with that. I'm just like, oh, I'm in the theater now.
Yes. We are on stage. The audience is here.
Like no one can know that this person's about to lose their life.
We are fine.
Like corpse who?
Yeah.
And so she like gracefully takes her heels off, and I'm like, cool, I'm gonna bend down, I'm gonna grab your shoes, and we're going to just quietly exit. And luckily we were kind of near a door or one of the exits. And so then I told her, I was like, tell the person next to you to like casually close this gap, and I'm gonna tell the person next to me the same. And so we did that, and then we just like started slowly walking back, which was great for me because then I got to leave the round, and I was like, break down,
like gotta help a sister.
Seriously. And so after that, like we just burst open, and we were like, oh, freedom.
Yeah. No, honestly, like if they want to lessen the amount of health issues that happen with these girls, like one, heels should not be required. There needs to be more water and more breaks. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's different, but the amount of people that would faint or feel faint, like, doesn't need to be that way.
Yeah, when I was still kind of keeping up with recruitment, especially when it was still height of COVID times. Yeah. They did virtual recruitment, and that looked like the most amazing time in terms of just like the amount of effort, physical effort that you get to take a break. Take a break on. There needs to be a version like that, at least for the first 2 rounds at our school in particular, because first round now takes 2 days.
No, I'm sure there were a lot of pros and cons to having to do recruitment virtually.
Yeah.
And I don't know anyone that had to do that, so I can't like ask. Like, I'm sure I could find like videos of like vlogs of girls that went through it during.
That's how I figured out how it went.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to wear heels, so that is, I'm sure that was lovely, but at the same time, it is nice to be in person, meeting the women that you're potentially going to be in a sorority with in person, but of course, if that's just not an option, then virtual sounds delightful.
Yeah. Yeah, because it takes away, like, honestly, like, half of the body, so, like, half of talking points are taken away, because, like, I was big on complimenting accessories and shoes.
Yeah.
Because they were obviously going to be different from what we had to wear because it was all the same. So yeah, that takes away like potential talking points.
Yeah. You could be like, what's that painting behind you in your bedroom? Oh, that's my dog.
Like, why'd you choose that Zoom background?
Yeah, we're in the mountains. Do you like to ski? I really enjoyed talking to all the girls, being the recruiter. They're called PNMs, potential new members. Those are the
terms
we
use for short because it's easier to say.
Yeah, those are the people going through recruitment. But I had so much fun just talking to girls that were, for the most part, younger. I don't know, I really enjoyed that aspect. The long hours and the wearing heels and the not a lot of sleep, like that part is not so ideal, but in some ways, not the heel part, but just the time part is just necessary because so much goes into it and there's so much to do as the sorority throughout that time, so it's kind of inevitable that it just takes up
a lot of time.
Yeah, like hours and hours, but in the end it is worth it. Just when you're in it, you're like, it's just a lot while you're in it, but...
And people drop like flies because like you either can't talk anymore because you literally lose your voice, or like your feet hurt so bad, or whatever.
It's like, it's so dramatic. Like,
for no reason.
Have a picnic and like sit in our bare feet like on the sand.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess some like sprinkle of advice that I think is still true, and I would hope it's true today, is, you know, you get kind of prepped as a PNM before going through the entire recruitment process. And a lot of things they'll point out is like, okay, these are some talking points that you should stray away from, and here are some talking points that maybe you should like highlight.
Yeah.
And I remember always asking, like, can I be paired with the potential problematic girlies?
You did?
Oh, yeah.
You're like, give me something exciting.
I wanted the drama.
That's so
So I always asked, and I was like, can I have, because we'd have notes, obviously, on people that we meet so we don't forget. And anytime someone made it through, but, like, maybe had, like, a question mark of a note, I was like, can I be with that person? Like, can I suss it out?
I want to know their story.
Yeah. And so sometimes I would get like, this is a fun conversation, but you're not making it through because you're obviously not talking about appropriate things.
Yeah.
And I have to mark that.
Yeah.
But it was so fun. It diversified, like...
Your day.
My day and who I was talking to.
Yeah.
Because if I had to talk through another, like, how the weather is, what your major is, where you live... Like, I was so, like, yes, I can make that a fun conversation and I will deter it, but, like, give me the drama.
Yeah.
give me the problematic ones. It was so much fun for me. Even if I couldn't necessarily pass them through to the next round with us, it was still so, it was fun for me.
You're like, let's hang, like, outside of
this. Like, you sound like a good time. So that was a highlight for me.
Yeah, sophomore year... living in the housing for our sorority and also doing recruitment together, I think helped strengthen the bond with certain people that I just got close to during that time. Because recruitment is so long.
Yeah.
It takes so much prep. You're going to be spending a lot of time with these same people over and over. You're just naturally going to bond more because you're spending more time. And something about like being up until the wee hours with people, like you let it all go and you're like, whatever, like, this is me. And then you just get closer.
Yeah. And if you're, like, brand new at recruitment, you are asked to go early on campus to train and to learn all of the songs and all of the prep and stuff. Even then, like, your life is the sorority for those, essentially for that first month of school that you're there. So, big bonding experience. At the end of the day, glad I did it, and glad I did it only once, and we'll explain as we get through the years why that was the case.
One time and one time only what's required.
Yeah, and I think around this time, our second year, I really started to notice people dropping and why they would drop the sorority, and I think it's like a semi-important point to talk about just because you should never feel like you have to stay in something for the sake of staying in it, whether that be for the reputation or because you feel like you have to because you're missing out on something. Like, if you genuinely feel like this is just not it for you, like, don't be afraid to drop. Like, I know it can be a process, but nonetheless, like, getting out is the important thing, especially if it's gonna be, like, the most beneficial move for you.
Yeah, because you can still, of course, keep the friendships that you've made and keep in touch with the people that you want to. And if you don't want to be a part of the organization after your first year, second year, third year, like, drop whenever you don't want to be a part of it, because you can still have the most important part, which is those friendships with the people you've met, and just, you don't have to be in the organization if you don't want to.
Right. That's kind of when I started to really notice that. Like, our first year, I, like, was like, why are you dropping? Like, you're not even giving it a chance. But by second year, I'm like, I get it.
Yeah,
like,
you have a year of experience. You can kind of gauge, like, is this for me? Is it not?
Yeah. But I guess also note, and I'm sure this is still a rule, once you've been initiated, you technically can't join any other sorority.
Yeah.
Just because you went through the initiation of the first one you went through. But if you haven't been initiated, I'm pretty sure you can then go through recruitment again and join another chapter that hopefully is better suited for you.
I forgot about that.
I like knowing these little rules.
I'm like, are you currently, like, the recruitment chair for, like, USC?
Well, you know why? I knew the Pan-Hellenic president our senior year, so I was like, that's all we talked about. It just ingrained in me. She's lovely. She's great. So because I feel like I'd explain it so much then, it just kind of stuck. But correct me if I'm wrong, if things have changed. Our third year.
We are juniors.
We are about to be 21 this year.
I turned 21 at the start of the year, and all my friends turned 21 at the end of the year.
And I feel like Greek life-wise, that makes a huge difference. I guess we didn't touch on this, but if you're under 21 and you decided to partake in the social aspect of ASU, you'd go to parties, house parties. And then if you're 21 and up, we had a great bar scene. Like, we had a great bar and club scene, so that's then what you partook in when you were 21 plus.
Yeah.
So, lone wolf for the first 6 months.
I had a couple friends, and it honestly, like, made me expand a little. Like,
and I was still in a relationship then, so I was extra not going out as much. I still went out, of course, but I feel like I was, like, not over, like, the typical frat party, which I still partook in, like, all the way into my senior year. But at the same time, I was like, I'm ready to be 21 and to go out to the bars, because that's where the majority of, like, the fun looks like, where it's happening.
Yeah, but in regards to recruitment, this was my first year being a ROGAMA.
Yeah,
being a
recruitment counselor.
Yeah.
And I took this semester off completely.
Was it from school or just from, what is it called?
You can take a leave. I forgot what it's called. Everyone was...
Status. You're on status.
Okay, yeah. So everyone is entitled to take a semester off, and it's just called being on status. And you can give your reasoning for it, including just like, I have either like a large workload, or just mentally I need it, or financially I need it, because you don't pay dues during that time. But at the same time, you do lose your privileges of not being able to, like, vote or go to date parties, or if you do, you have to pay to go to those date parties. So it has its pros and cons, but this is the time I was like, this would be a good time to, like, take a status. It's nothing that exciting happening. I don't feel like doing normal recruitment without being a recruitment counselor, which I completely missed the deadline of even doing. So I was like, this seems like a good time to, like, take a little breather from sorority life.
I think what the rule was, you obviously have to be recruited, so you have to go through recruitment, and then you have to recruit once 1 year.
Yeah.
And then after that, you can either keep doing recruitment, or you can be a recruitment counselor, and so you have to apply and go through, like, interviews, and then if you get picked, then you're not a recruiter, you remove your letters, you don't tell anyone what sorority you're in, and you are in charge of your group of PNMs going through recruitment, but you stay anonymous, so, like, there's no bias or judgment, like, you just are there for them. You're not repping your sorority at all. It's just, you are just their mom for that time.
Yeah, just your Greek mom. Like, the only thing you know is they're in Greek life, and they're just there to help guide you and hear you venting and help you kind of pick, like, okay, how do you feel when you walk through this space? How are your conversations? Yeah, you're kind of a jack of all trades with this.
I loved this so much. I felt like a mama bird with all my little chickadees. Yeah. And it was like, bid day was like, I was so emotional. I'm like, oh, they're all flying. Like, they've left the nest. I got like I had like really, really nice connections with all of my girls and just felt like, I want this to be a sorority. Like this, it was just such a fun experience. And yeah, just felt really good being there for them because I've been through it and I know the emotions and the ups and downs and the stress and just all of that. And you're just like a shoulder to cry on if they need it. If their meter's gonna run out in their next round, you go fill their parking. If they need a snack, like you get it for them. Like you're just there to make the experience as enjoyable as possible for them. And it's just fun. Like you have all this downtime together when they're not in rounds and you just get to hang out with all these new cool women, and then it's really fun to see where everyone ends up and keeping in touch with people and then seeing them become rogams later on. But yeah, I didn't do it just to like not do recruitment. I was like, no, I actually love just helping other women, especially like younger women, and I just really loved it. And then I did it senior year too, and it was like, oh, if you need me a third year, call me.
Yeah. You need me to run this? I got it.
Yeah. Like, I will come back.
I remember, like, loving not having to do any of it and seeing you come home, like, fairly rested, which was cool.
You get to wear tennis shoes, like, athletic, comfy.
Makeup optional.
Oh, my gosh. Incredible. I seriously, like, didn't understand why more people didn't do it.
Yeah, and I guess from the side of not being part of it at all, it honestly, it was a very nice breather.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't regret not partaking in it, and if anything, it was great to see everything happen on the sidelines.
Like, go you. Good for you.
At this time, too, outside of the sorority, I was doing pretty much the first job I've ever done in my entire life, like something I actually was getting paid for was working theater tech and production for my dance program, so I was really busy with that, and that's what really took over that semester, truly. And so I was just navigating where I was putting my priorities and what I wanted to be involved with.
Yeah. You were still just as busy. It was just with other things.
Yeah. I know a lot of people also took a status at this time, or as a junior, it's very popular to like study abroad. So there was a lot of just juniors or third years at this point who were just like on and off being involved.
Yeah. I would definitely recommend if you have the opportunity to be a recruitment counselor, do it. Just do it. At least once.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to do it 2 years unless you really love it like I did. But just to do it once, just so that you get a chance to see all sides of recruitment. You get to be the PNM, you get to be a recruiter, and you get to be a counselor. Why not just see it from all sides?
100%. And I love that. I think this third year was really navigating just how involved, at least personally, how involved I wanted to be that whole year and then the next year. Not because I felt like I was disconnecting in a way, but everything was just starting to feel like at that time a little bit more pressurized of like, you need to act a certain way, be a certain type of way. And I'm like, I just want to be my own person.
I'll be a freshman.
Yeah. Like the newness was completely gone.
And I think that's natural. The longer you're in anything, it's like, like I know the drill, I know the ropes. Like, you kind of naturally may step away a little bit.
And I think a big part of that, at least this third year, was again not living and like not being in close proximity to it anymore. It really took away a lot of the convenience and what I called like not my laziness, but just like it was very nice having everything be a foot away and now it's a mile away. And so it really like I really had to be motivated to participate and be part of everything that year.
It took more literal effort to just like get to campus or to get to an event. It's like if I can just go out of my dorm and go across the street to the baseball field and it's right there, but it's like have to drive, I have to find parking.
To get ready.
Yeah, it's like, ugh, you know, like that really isn't a lot of work, but it feels like way more effort.
And I feel like just like being in college in general, like you don't realize just how efficient you become because you're in campus or on campus for as long as you are and experiencing that. And like the further and further you move away, the harder and harder it is to like get used to it not being instant gratification or like instantly like, okay, like all I have to do, like you said, is just walk, you know, a couple blocks away. And now it's like, oh, we have to like, it's a process.
Yeah.
I have to time this out.
Yeah.
I can't like, unless chapter happened right after a class, it's like, I'm not going.
Yeah. I'm not on campus. I don't feel like getting to campus.
But yeah, those were my true feelings, and I think it's all very normal. And I do wish there was something that Greek life had that would have made it more motivating to be part of it at that point. And I don't know what that answer would be or what that solution would be.
I think it's just a personal thing. You're like, I'm not enticed. I'm not going. Like, that's on you. That's on
There's no zest left.
Like, oh, actually, I always thought if chapter had free food, I would have gone. You would have had full, perfect attendance every single time, even just like cookies, like a snack. But the few times where we did have food, why is there 100% attendance today? Because we have sandwiches.
But you know what would have happened? Everyone would have gone entitled, me included, and been like, yeah, this is part of it.
True, then you'd get bored and still not come. So it's like if you just need a break, like then you just need a break.
Yeah, and that's what I got and did. That third year was also like all the girlies that like I got close-ish to that were older than us. They graduated, and I was like, oh my God, we're like, that was the new mindset of like, we're gonna be the oldest now. True. And we're gonna be like the role models to look up to.
Yeah.
Seeing everyone like start to graduate and kind of be exposed to people coming in and then coming out and being just as close to those two groups, it was like kind of trippy to be like, whoa, I'm watching you kind of start adulting and I'm watching you just starting this new era of your life in college and independence again. So
yeah, it is kind of like that in between of like, I'm not the baby, but I'm not quite the oldest, and I'm feeling mixed emotions because it's also kind of sad. Like, oh my gosh, you already have 2 years under your belt. Like,
well, 3 now.
Well, I mean, like at the start. Like,
oh, got it.
Like at the start of junior year, like 2 years are down. You have 2 more to go. It kind of was like a reality check at certain points of like, oh, this is going by fast. I don't like that. Like, time is ticking. How am I a junior?
Yeah. And at this point, we were all 21 at this point now as well. By the end. And so that entire dynamic was completely different.
A few, like you included, a few of our friends turned 21 the very end of junior year. So we got to like experience life as 21-year-olds together for like a preview. And so we had like a little bit of time at the end of junior year that was just like a taste of what senior year was going to be like. Yeah. Wow.
The fondness I feel of that particular time. And then I became single, so it was amazing. It was even better.
You are free. And you got a valid ID.
Which is horizontal now. Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. So now we're in our senior year of our sorority life, our Greek life.
Sorority.
And I finally become a recruitment counselor. Yes. So I'll say my take on all of that. And it was really fun because I knew a lot of the girls in Panhellenic. So going through that process and doing it with you, I was like, yes.
I'm like, do you see why I was so happy this time last year?
And you still have to go early to get trained in that. But that to me was so worth it. Yeah. It was amazing.
That's true. I forgot
It's a lot of training.
Yeah, or like the retreat that we went on with all of the Rogams together. That was so fun because as fun as it is to be with the younger girls that are going through it, it was fun to be with other people our same year and meet a lot of other women from other sororities that you maybe don't get a chance to meet that often. And just be like, okay, now this is our sorority. Like, Rogam is our sorority. And we got to be, like, our own group of sisters for that time, which was really cool. Yeah. And then keep some of those relationships after.
Yeah, like, I loved my group. Yeah. And we got those assignments to each other at the start. I remember, because you have to, like, share hotel and stuff like that for that particular retreat. So I'm just happy that like I really got along and bonded really well with the girls I was assigned with to be recruitment counselors with. As a whole, I loved being a recruitment counselor. It was so much fun. And I loved that we got to drop the letters, like really did. Like I loved being anonymous in that sense.
It was very fun. It was just like...
and easy.
Yeah, like I'm not attached to anything. I'm not associated with anything. I'm just your recruitment mother. Come to me with whatever, and like that's all you're there for.
And it really diversified, and this is like a little thing, but it really diversified my social media. Like it wasn't just my sorority anymore. I like ended up following a lot of like my PNMs and like still follow some of them now, and obviously like my entire like group that I was with. So it really made it more like a unified Greek experience versus just a unified like my sorority experience.
Yeah, and that was another part of it. We had to make our social media private and make sure our name was not associated with our letters anywhere. And yeah, like couldn't have our last name on stuff online with our, like you had to change everything to like your first and middle name, like all of that stuff, so that you really are as anonymous as possible, and hopefully none of your PNMs go digging really hard or like ask someone. Like that just takes away from the point. Like you're just supposed to be letterless.
Yeah. I did find it funny, like, hearing what the girls did have to say about our sorority.
Yeah, and keeping a straight face.
Yeah, but I felt no hard feelings. It was just like, this is amazing. I'm, like, actually helping you find what I found, you know, my freshman year.
Yeah, I never felt like, well, you're obviously not supposed to, like, pressure them to join any, but, like, definitely not pressure them to join your own because you like yours. Like, it was just... yeah, you hope that they find the feeling that you had for yours with whatever chapter that is. And it was very rewarding to see them get emotional, or like just when you can just tell, like, I think you know, I think maybe you're doing what I did and acting like you don't know. But like, yeah, it was just a cool feeling to watch them go through the whole process and then find their home, and then like see if they have positions in their sorority, like, you know, years down the line, or just see if they join Panhellenic, or like just see where their Greek journey takes them. But you're like, I was there when you were just, you didn't have a home yet. Like, you were just floating. And now you're the president. Like, wow, I'm so proud.
I did witness that. I witnessed, I think one of my B&Ms became president of Panhellenic.
That's
her
so cool.
junior or senior year or something like that. And I was like, oh, I know royalty.
Yeah.
I helped. I was part of that journey.
Where's my check? I helped with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just so awesome to see. And then just kind of this year was the last year to really participate in everything and attend, you know, the day parties we wanted to attend and bring whoever we wanted. Oh, yeah, and the day parties at this point, I was taking friends.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Which was lovely.
Yeah, I think we said this last time. Like, once we started just taking true, genuine friends and not having the pressure of, like, I need to find a random date for this. Like, no, take your friends. Take who you will have the best time with.
Yeah.
And we did that.
Oh, yeah. And they tended to be other girls from other sororities. And, like, again, that was so nice to just, like, let them in on how our stuff runs.
Yeah. I think, because I had one friend in particular that was just, like, my go-to.
Same with me.
And then people were like, is she in our sorority? Like, have we met? Like, I'm sorry, are we sisters? And she's like, no, I'm just here for every event.
Yeah, well, we would always call them, like, honorary, and then, like, our honorary sister pretty much.
So that was cute.
That was so cute. I love that.
Yeah, because then, there were people that, like, expected them to be there. They're like, where's Susie? Like... I thought she'd be at barn dance. Like, I'm waiting to see her.
Barn dance was so fun.
Barn themed. Like, we literally, my bestie that I took senior year, we were ducks.
And I was a cow.
Yeah.
And my date was a pig. And she had a cowbell for me.
To come find you. Yeah. Ring, ring.
This was probably at the bar.
Oh my gosh, that one. Because I'm pretty sure that we DIY'd our little duck costume. So it's like, we gotta go to Michael's. I need feathers. Yeah. Like, it was so fun to, like, yeah, just craft your little outfit and then go with a friend and just have like a silly good time.
That is the perfect way to put it. It was silly.
Yeah.
It was so silly. Like, all the silliness.
Yes.
Like, it was a lot. But then I also recycled that cow onesie for Halloween, so I got my money's worth.
Oh my gosh. I think, thinking about it now, you either went the cute flannel denim short cowboy boot route, looking all nice, hair done, or you went like I will be the barn animal, like moo, quack quack,
squirt out of my udders. Here's some tequila.
Like senior year day parties, like looks. I don't care. I want to be a duck with my friend, and I want my cow and my pig friends to be there.
Oh my god, yeah. I didn't go to barn dance third year because I was on status, but then I did the cutesy like cowgirl boots and all of that the first 2 years, and it was fine. But fourth year, I was like, we gotta go,
like comfort. And make it silly. Like, amazing.
And you know what? Cohesively was so fun.
Yeah.
And other people also did barn animals too, so we all ended up like bonding over that. It's like we did it right.
Yeah. We're comfortable. You can just like go to sleep in your cow onesie after.
Yeah. People also dressed like chickens. Like it was so funny.
Yes. Like take the literal theme.
Yes. That was also a year for me where I was like really trying to balance work, school, and sorority life. I don't know why I did this to myself, but I had the most going on senior year, like ever out of all the years.
Yeah.
Like I took a big old nap third year, and then all of a sudden I woke up and I was like, let's do everything.
Yeah.
So I was minimally participating in sorority life at that point, as much as I could get away with.
Yeah. They're like, do you want to keep your
status?
Yeah. With this organization?
Yeah. I didn't feel like I missed out on everything that I did end up missing, because I missed some big stuff senior year.
You did, and I was sad sometimes.
I'm sorry.
Like,
wait.
Like, I'll just FaceTime her.
That we did do that a couple of times.
Like, she's here.
I remember you guys at the club. It was like Great Gatsby themed, and it was at a club in Scottsdale. And I was at work, and the show hadn't started yet. Oh, by the way, again, theater production. I was working shows, so like I had time.
Yeah.
And I remember you guys FaceTiming, and I was like, ooh, one dance, let's go.
Yeah, that was the only song that ever played. Oh my gosh. It's so interesting to think about all the songs that were popular each year and make like a playlist of like, this is our freshman year. This was, oh my gosh, I hear this song, I think of sophomore year. Like,
are you
so
kidding?
Weird. That takes me back.
Gas pedal.
Red Nose.
Hands up against the wall.
That's how I knew. I already knew. I was like, this is my wife. But she's also the only other person dancing to Gas Pedal. Like, what is everyone doing?
I remember when Gas Pedal would come on freshman year at a frat party, we'd look like
no matter where we were.
We made eye contact, grabbed hands, ran to a wall, placed our hands on it, and shook our ass.
Oh my gosh.
That's bonding. Marriage material.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway. But yeah, I like that.
Yeah, just the different songs that feel like each year, you know?
Because there's a distinction.
Oh yeah.
I can pinpoint it. Like Caroline, junior year. And then really, really, really made prominent senior year.
I can still barely listen to Caroline because...
Bagel on a square plate.
That's broccoli.
My bad.
Whoa! Broccoli is senior year.
There we go. Caroline's junior year.
Like, I just go back to that whenever I hear that song, and I'm like, skip, because I'm not trying to cry right now.
That entire era, I just felt like I'm so fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so fulfilled.
Yeah. It was a fulfilling time.
Oh my God.
Indeed.
And then I did an internship my last semester, and I couldn't go out as much anymore.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to graduate with you all.
Oh, true. Duh. No, yeah, because you would have been like, you were technically done with classes by the second half of senior year, so you did an internship.
Yeah. I had to do it, but at the same time, technically no, because then I could have just been done with like a dance degree, but then I decided to do dance education, so that added on to it, but I was technically done. But yeah, that was kind of the breakdown of every year of how sorority life was for us. And I think by the end, I was very happy with my experience and how I went about it. And there were definitely some low times being in a sorority, but at the end of the day, it obviously brought me it brought me friends we still see who live out in LA now.
Same. The longer I am out of college, the more grateful I am for my sorority experience. Like you said, not every single moment was like perfect in every way, but overall, like I feel like we had such a unique one in a million experience that is just like, wow, like we got to do that. What that was our lives. Like that was just such a cool time. It kind of feels like a different life. Like I have to remind myself like, oh, that was me. That was my lifestyle. I wore letters all the time. Like I really lived like that for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I love looking back on it. It's like you're in that for 4 years. Like it's gonna impact you.
And yeah, I guess like we can talk about the biggest takeaways from being in our particular sorority and at our particular school, especially at the time, the years we did do it. As things always should, things evolve, and I'm sure it's definitely not the same as it is now from what we experienced, especially with COVID playing a big part of that. And I think from 2013 to 2017 when we were in it, it was such a unique time to be part of that.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite lessons, I guess, is one that I had already learned, but I just liked that it was reinforced in college. But when I was on my dance team in high school, something they'd always tell us is that you are always representing this dance school. You are always representing your team and your teammates, whether you're wearing a jacket with the studio name on it or not. You now have the responsibility to not only represent yourself well, but you also represent this community now and that reputation. So having that very adult-like maturity or adult-like responsibility put on me in high school, that will make you mature in certain ways if you care about the organization. And so I already had that mindset from my dance team, but then in college it was the same. It was like, you are now representing this sorority. You can't wear your letters to parties. Like, don't post crazy pictures wearing your letters. Like, you now are, I think they'd always say, like, you're part of something bigger than yourself.
Was the biggest
yeah
quote from that.
And like, it's cheesy, but it's true. And I just liked that feeling of like, one, I just want to represent myself well for me,
regardless,
just in my own way. But then I thought it was nice that it's like, oh yeah, what I do matters for this organization. Like, I'm really a part of it. Like, I matter because I'm representing my sisters and people that have been here before me and people that'll be here after me. It's like telling us to like have that respect, basically, was like, oh, that is how it should be. And I think that that is a lesson that can be taken throughout life. And so I think that is good for people to learn younger rather than older. Yeah, how to represent whatever job you have, whatever company or organization you're a part of, to represent it to the best of your abilities.
Yeah, because even, I'll say this, even when you're not in a sorority yet, but you're a potential new member, I remember like looking through some profiles on social media, and if I saw like maybe not the best represented versions of themselves that they themselves posted or let themselves be tagged in, it was immediately a red flag, just because of like, it's a cool that you do that, like to each their own with what you do in your own time, just don't post it. Or just don't make it a public thing. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. That was a huge thing, and I for sure have carried that with me now, because I feel like I was told this very young, especially as soon as social media really started to pick up. Don't send things that you wouldn't want to be shared. And don't post things that you wouldn't want future employers to see and be like, you look fun, but we want a particular type of representation here. And it's all about just looking and being professional at the end of the day.
The internet is permanent.
Yeah.
Whether you delete a photo or not, it's screenshotted, it's there, it's on the internet forever, whether you like it or not. Not just for the sorority, but like you said, for jobs and just for whatever reason, like knowing that you can still do whatever you want. Just, is someone filming you? Do you trust that person? Is your face in this? Are your letters in it? Like, do whatever you want, but you do not have to post everything, and you shouldn't post everything.
It's no one's business but your own, essentially. Yeah. And that sense of security and privacy should always be upheld by you. Mm-hmm. And now, like, the stigma, I guess, of sororities and it being, very exclusive mm-hmm. and the problematicness.
Yeah, I think part of that stigma comes from movies and TV shows and stuff. It's like, at least for sorority women, it was always shown like they're blonde, they all have the same body, they're rich, and they're dumb. Like, that's how it always was. It's annoying that is how sorority life is portrayed, that it's like, oh, you're all dumb and all you do is party, and like you're just like airheads up there, like, excuse me,
and you think you're like top of the social pyramid, whatever that means, which is it's so dumb in my honest opinion.
They only show Greek life being one thing. If your experience is how it is shown in TV shows and movies, that's all good, that's fine, but it's just the fact that it's like always shown the exact same way is what is just not true, and not accurate.
That you don't see so much of like the charitable aspect of it. You don't see so much of like, honestly, like the building each other up aspect. It's always about the drama, and the drama that comes from over partying and being in really dangerous situations. Mm-hmm. And not to say that doesn't happen, but it's, again, not an accurate portrayal. And instead, like, show us how to get out of those situations. There just needs to be more representation of, here's a problem, but here's also a solution, and that's what makes it great. Mm-hmm. That is obviously what needs to evolve, and what I hope is evolving for the better. Anyway, but yeah, that was our experience with Greek life and being in our particular sorority at our school. And overall, I'm just so happy I did it, and I'm happy I stuck with it. I'll say that.
I think the benefits just continue. Like, look at you, look at me. Like, we're still friends. Like, all the people that we still know and hang out with, and just like those relationships just continue to grow. And throughout every stage of life that we're going through, I think that's like the biggest benefit. Is like, I think about like freshman year, us and our friends freshman year, and just where we are now. Like, it's incredible.
I totally forgot to say this, so hopefully you're still with us, because this is a huge part of it. So when I was in London, I actually met up with like an entire active alumni chapter out there, and it was like our sorority across the pond. Mm-hmm. Honestly, that was kind of a little bit of a lifeline that I had to meeting new people while I was out there that wasn't part of my actual master's program. And I ended up getting a job through one of the girls I met day one when I was there. We did a Founders Day celebration together, and it was at what became one of my favorite pubs, like in my favorite areas, and it was just such a fun, unique experience. And at that point, I was already 2 years out from being an actual sorority girl. So it was amazing seeing people in their 40s, all the way from their 20s to 40s in that alumni group. And all of us being in this place abroad, so far away from home for various reasons. And it was just really amazing to have that sense of community and connection that I wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah, I think that is a really unique aspect. And my junior year, an alum reached out to our sorority, and I got an internship through that. And so there are benefits in that way. You just never know who you're going to meet, and you'll always have that connection, whether you continue to pay like alumni dues and go to events often or not. You're in it. You are a part of something forever. And I think that's really cool and comforting. If you ever need people or you need someone, find it in whatever city you're in or at whatever country. You could be abroad, and just search up your organization in that place, and like, boom, you've got someone.
Yeah, and I'm sure we have an LA alumni chapter. We just haven't looked into it. But now I'm kind of tempted and curious. So it really is a lifetime of opportunity that you'll always have a lifeline to. Love it. Love to hear it. That was the episode. Sayonara.
You're looking at me like, are we finished? Like,
yes.
Yes, we are.
TTYL. Adios. This is Wifeys IRL.
Shalom. Ciao.
oil in my sandwich.
Too much oil and vinegar.
So good though. I love an Italian. Anyway.
No tangents.
Talking about London.
Jersey Mike's. Who's that?
But for real, Italian stuff, some wheat bread with that olive oil and vinegar. So good. For the bloops.
Yeah.
For the bloops.